Luigi's Mansion, the game that made teenagers and kids shit their pants in the early 2000s. I'd say it's one of the best games to play on the GameCube. Hell, it's that time of Halloween, so it's also a good time to pull your GameCubes out and pull Luigi's Mansion out too. One of the main things that stands out in this game are the portrait ghosts. You have a wide variety of portrait ghosts to fight off. Some of them are cool, some of them are dull, some of them are simple, others can be extremely tricky. I'm going to be going over the 7 most trickiest Luigi's Mansion portrait ghosts. Now for this list, I'm not going to be adding the big boss battles to this game. No Boolosses, no Chauncey, no Bogmire, and definitely no King Boo. Otherwise, most of these bosses make the list. Remove them all, and it's an open playing field for the rest of the portrait ghosts. Without further ado, let's get right into the countdown. I swear this game is promoting violence on old women. Imagine taking Grandma Susie into a retirement home and then a random plumber just being hitting her with crochet balls. Please don't do that, y'all. Anyways, the Nana is the least tricky portrait ghost on this list. The premise is simple in throwing her crochet balls at her, and that's how you end up vacuuming her up. There is a catch though. Once you throw the first one at her, she apparently can shoot lasers out of her eyes. Like what the f? For an old citizen, she can do quite a bit of damage. That's really one of the only challenges that she provides. Other than that, the concept of getting her angry is easy, and that is a ghost you shouldn't have too much trouble with. Oh, also, there's a blue ghost to capture in this room, so you as well get rewarded with money, so that's a bonus here. Do you have a friend that eats a ton of food? Well, we've got Mr. Lugs who pretty much does that to himself. Like, good grief, imagine walking into a buffet for a good meal and you see a giant ass ghost eating up a god knows how many meal courses. There are even the bloody ghost servants that are feeding him food plates after food plates. Like, goddamn, at this point there's not going to be any more food for the rest of everybody. Mr. Lugs has his tricky traits, but they're rather avoidable. The one thing he doesn't like is you sucking up his food, because once you take his food away, oh, it's not pretty. He starts spitting fire out of his mouth, and he does this for quite a while until he practically tires himself out and you get the chance to vacuum him up. So on one hand, you don't really want to mess with him, but on the other hand, he's not extremely difficult to catch. Thank goodness he can fit inside the vacuum, because holy shit, that's one big old ghost to capture. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you still like dogs after what I'm about to show you. This is Spooky the dog. Most dogs are generally friendly, but this one will act friendly, and then woof, he's out to bite you. Now what's a stereotypical item that dogs seem to like? Bones. Luigi Mansion follows this up, and you start by capturing a ghost made of bones. Although it can be a little tricky to capture this ghost while at the same time having this little coming after you. However, once you finish picking a bone with this ghost, Spooky becomes very easy to capture. In fact, even if you fail to get him the first time, he's very easy to capture the second time as he simply goes back to licking the bone. So yeah, Spooky the dog may look like a cute dog, or not, I don't know your preference on dogs, but he's not impossible to catch. At number 4, we've got the Clock Soldiers. Here, you've got 3 ghosts to deal with. The thing with these guys is you can't really fight them all at once. You have to fight them all one by one, which can be tricky. What you don't want is to be in the middle of a fight with one ghost and suddenly one of the other ghosts just strikes you out of nowhere. It starts out tricky, but it does get easier the longer this ghost continues, so you at least get to breathe. Also, something to add as an extra, which doesn't make the portrait ghost any more difficult, but I like the added theme song in the background to this game. It's just a nice little bonus I thought they added, so yeah. Now, not too long ago, I just said fighting off 3 ghosts at the same time is tricky. And it still is. But now try fighting off practically a whole army of ghosts. Meet Vincent Van Gogh. You know all these ghosts throughout the entire mansion that you find? Yep, those have been painted by none other than Vincent Van Gogh. This guy can seemingly bring his art to life. What a power that must be. Now, the reason why this isn't the trickiest ghost is because you fight off the ghosts one by one. The ghosts don't get summoned all at once, but the fight is set at a much slower pace, which is why I wouldn't call it the trickiest portrait ghost to capture. Also, there's a couple ghosts ahead that are way trickier than Van Gogh. Van Gogh starts off easy with regular orange ghosts, but it does get a little tricky, and hell, you can make it more difficult if you don't catch some of these ghosts on the first try. So as long as you capture the batch of ghosts on the first try, capturing this portrait ghost can be simple, but there's still the obstacles. I'd describe this as taking everything you learned from capturing the previous ghost from the game and putting it all together here. Henry and Orville look like innocent children ghosts, but believe me, they are far from that. you scared of a bunch of children, you Okay, let me explain first. First off, yes, it starts off simple. You start off with a game of hide and seek. Oh god, this is starting to look really bad on me now. Oh sh. Anyways, the kids start to act like a bunch of brats, and suddenly they come out with their vehicles and sh. And it's not like they're only riding their vehicles. Oh no, they come out with vehicles and start bombing the sh out of you and throw poison mushrooms at you. Like, this definitely can be tricky fighting them off. Now you see what I mean when I say these kids aren't innocent? You think they're innocent now? Yeah, that's what I thought. I think what makes this tough is you can't capture both the ghosts at the same time. You have to fight them off one by one, which makes it really tricky to get gold on these guys. I guess the one upside to this is you do have a blue ghost where you can get a lot of free money. Other than that, these kids can be tricky to fight off. Now, who is the #1 most trickiest portrait ghost in this game, you may be wondering? Well, we're about to find out right now. Meet Sir Weston. You go from a nice warm mansion, well, I think it's warm, to a cold room with a man stuck inside ice like bloody Avatar Aang. It's one of the final portrait ghosts of the game, but it's also extremely challenging. For starters, you got quite the obstacles from falling ice from the roof and the man summoning ice from the ground. Good grief, is he like the bloody waterbender or some shit? Man's able to control the ice around him and turn it into a weapon. Now at first glance, you may think once you avoid his attacks and you finally catch him, it's easy, right? Wrong! You've not only got the falling ice again, which makes it very tricky to avoid, but you've also got a very slippery floor, which makes capturing this ghost the first time around extremely difficult. If you're out trying to go for all gold portraits, this is the ghost that's most likely gonna haunt you the most. Once you do finally get a gold, it's a thank God from the heavens because you don't ever want to face this ghost again. Is it rewarding after you beat him? I mean, it's closer to the end of the game, yes, but I wouldn't say it's rewarding. Like I said, it's just a relief off your shoulders, and it's a ghost probably no one wants to try and get a gold on again.